Let's examine today the Nimzo-Larsen attack. This system we can start the system with this move b3. It looks curious actually, but let's see another system. After d4, knight to f6, c4, e6, and now knight to f3, we have one of the most popular openings, b6 now, and this is Queen's Indian attack. Queen's Indian defense actually, and it's very popular system, this one, and Ben Larsen has the idea to play the system with white with a tempo up, and for that reason he played that move b3. Actually it's not a bad system, it's not a bad move, because we can try to develop the bishop immediately, and I use this system in real games, in classical games, and in blitz games as well. This is a very nice system for blitz. Actually, not only. And let's see the first trap here, why we can play this move. After b3, here black has two options. One of them is to play e5 and the other one is to play d5, right? Because this is a hyper modern opening, and the idea is to invite black to gain space in the center, and after that we are going to counter attack. And this I'm going to show you now a trap that will happen a lot. And after e5, the very common move, we can play bishop to b2, immediately attacking that pawn. Knight to c6, and now e3. This is the common setup, as you've seen earlier in Queen's Indian defense. You are going to play these two moves, and maybe later to develop the knight. The bishop is going here, and we're trying to execute pressure in the center. And now we are trying to attack that pawn immediately, and we play d3. He can play something like d5 or things like that to grab space in the center. It looks logical. And now look at that, bishop to b5. And if black just develop his pieces normally, like this one, then we can capture a pawn. Bishop takes e5. And this happened a lot. I took this pawn many times when I played, and if he just foreseen that he played something like this to unpin the knight, again we have this exchange, and after that we can capture the pawn as well. If you play this Larsen system, you are going to take e5 pawn. I have some traps for you, some games, and let's go on to see little more games. I have other 4 games to show you. And now we have this system again, the opening system. He played knight to f6 immediately, this player, and both of that players are above 2000 FIDE rating, so they was good players. And now we have bishop to b5. Again, the threat is the same. We would like to capture the knight, and after that to capture that pawn on e5. This is a simple idea. So black played d6 to rock solidly protect that pawn on e5, and now white continue with the move knight e2. It's actually a nice move. Of course, it's nothing bad to put the knight here on f3, but he played this move because he would like to castle, and maybe later to play a move like f4. Try to open up this bishop. Maybe this is one of the ideas. And of course another idea is to play something like d4 in the center. And maybe he's trying to avoid the pin on with bishop to g5. If he just developed the knight on f3, let's say, black can pin the knight immediately. It's not a disaster, but okay, it's an option. So white played this move, an interesting move, and now we have g6, because black cannot develop the bishop from this diagonal. As you can see, he closed it with that one, so we have g6, and now d4, another very common move. Try to strike in the center immediately, pawn takes, knight takes, and what we are threatening, to take here a pawn. We can capture with not only the pawn, the exchange, we can capture on c6, pawn takes, bishop takes, and after that the bishop from this square can attack the king and the rook. So black played the normal move here, bishop to d7, to overprotect this c6 square, and now we have bishop takes, pawn takes, because black would like to keep the bishop pair. For that reason he played this one, and now we have queen to f3. What he is attacking? The pawn. This one, right? How to protect that pawn? The correct move is to play c5. And now I have a diagram for you, because it's white's turn, and white have an amazing move to win the game. Not to draw something, to win the game. You can pause the video and try to think. It's white's turn. And if you find it, you're very welcome to write it below in the comments. I found that move, this brilliant move, and the move is knight e6. Why? Because we are putting a little pressure here with the knight, on the knight. We have the bishop executing pressure, and we need an active move attacking the queen, liberating our bishop. And after bishop takes, we can capture on f6. And what is the problem? We don't just capture the piece because we are threatening the queen and the rook as well. So he can try to save the queen, let's say, but after that we can capture the rook and white is winning, right? I hope you like that one. And if you like it, you are very welcome to click the thumbs up button right now. And let's jump forward to the next one. We have another game here, and this time black continue with this move d5. Okay, we can play e5 or d5 with black. Bishop here, knight to c6. The idea again is to play the pawn on e5. As you can see, he's fighting for the center, and now we have the same move e3, e5, bishop here, and this time black played bishop to d6. The players is 2150 ELO rating and above, and after this one he's trying to overprotect this pawn on e5. And now we played with white, he played a very nice move, and the move is f4. The idea behind that move is, of course, he cannot capture here, as you can see, because this powerful bishop, this monstrous bishop, can capture on g7. And now the rook is trapped and he cannot save the rook. He cannot save the rook. For example, after like this, we can capture here because this is a free piece. This knight is pinned, right? So he played another move. He played d4, tried to close the position here, to close this long diagonal, to prevent from the catastrophe in this diagonal. And now we have pawn takes, e takes to d4, and here let's say we can capture on d4, but if we just capture here, he can capture on f4, and no, actually he cannot do that because we can capture on g7, but he can develop his pieces like this, and maybe this pawn is a little weak. We are a pawn up, and we cannot capture now because he has rook to b8 in order rook to g8 to capture this pawn on g2. But in any case, a little complicated. Why develop the pieces? It's very normal to develop the pieces, and we can capture that pawn later, right? We can capture that pawn at any time we want. We are threatening that pawn. So here he played bishop to c5, tried to overprotect that pawn, and black would like to keep everything under control. And here white played knight to e5. What is the idea? The idea is to capture again on c3, on c6, as you can see, with a knight, and after that with the bishop to attack the king and the rook. And also we open up the queen here to join the attack on f3. So black played the normal move, knight g to e7 here, in order to overprotect everything, and white played a very nice move, a really nice move. We have a tactic again. It's not the only move, it's an interesting move to continue the game here. Of course you can pause the video and you can try. It's a little more difficult actually. And here he played knight takes f7, attacking queen and rook, both of them. And the idea behind it is after king takes you can give a check on h5, and after g6 you can capture the bishop on c5. And white is a pawn up here, a pawn up, and he has this fantastic bishop executing pressure here. He can castle short side, what this king is doing in the center of the board, almost in the center of the board, right? It's not in a very good position, and white is clearly better. So he didn't play that, but black just castling here and he lost the queen. I don't know why he played like this. This is a playable position, clearly better for white, but black can try. But in any case, I'm showing you this game for this nice tactic, knight takes f7, attacking everything, and this bishop is unprotected. So let's move forward. I have another game for you now. Again, the same system, and now you see black tried a different strategy. He developed the knight on the king side first, and we have again the same moves, knight here, knight f3, very logical. And another idea behind that system, this b3 system, is to control, to fight for the center, for these two squares e5 and d4. As you can see, we have the knight, we have the bishop, they are trying to control these central squares. And now he played c6, c4, tried to attack the center again, queen c7, knight to c3, e5. Black finally take more space in the center, and it looks normal, right? If your opponent gives you the center, you have to capture the center. It's logical. But with that system, we are trying to counterattack. And now we have pawn takes, rook to c1, putting the rook opposite the queen, and black here just developed the bishop to d6, because he said, okay, in the next move I'm going to go there, to castling. And here, actually, this is not very nice move. He played a good strategical idea, tried to castling, tried to develop his pieces, but actually this idea is not working thanks to tactics. it's white's turn here, what you're going to play actually, it's white's turn. And white, of course, he can capture the pawn on d5. This is a very nice move, but he had more dark idea. He played knight to b5, attacking queen and bishop. The only move was queen to b8. This was something that black had foreseen, of course, but here we have another tactic, and here white is winning the game. Can you find the winning move? And the winning move is rook takes to c8, fantastic move, luring the queen on c8, removing the defender, and after that we have the double attack, king here for example, we can capture on c8, and again, once again we can capture the pawn on e5. So black lost that game. And let's see another trap, how to play with the black pieces actually now. Let's flip the board for example, and after this b3 move, d5, we can try this, bishop to b2, and here we have a very sneaky move, and this is bishop to g4, because many white players is going to play something like e3, and then you can capture the queen. I should admit that I lost my queen with white pieces like that, not once, maybe two or more times, because I wasn't very careful, or we played a bullet game, something like that. But it's a very sneaky move, very tricky move. And now it's not entirely obvious how white should continue. For example, after knight to f3, we can capture that knight, pawn takes, or the other pawn can take, and there we have a position with double pawns, and we can play on. I'm preparing a course about that, how to play with double pawns or how to play against that pawns. I hope you enjoyed this video, and this video was about this Larsen attack with this move b3. You can experiment yourself and you can have a lot of fun with it. You can try it, and you're very welcome to stay below in the comments your results. Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you think about that system? Thank you very much, and see you soon.